My name's Lisa Van Dusen, and welcome to First Person. I am here in the band shack in the tree area with the tree. The tree is named Jonathan Strange, and he is here in anticipation of the Rose Bowl, this in the next few days, Rose Bowl 2013 on New Year's Day. Jonathan, nice to be with you.
Nice to be here too.
You've come out of your tree a little bit. I'd love to hear just a little bit about your job description as the tree.
There's a general rule of thumb that throughout the year, your job is to just be the campus rock star. So the way that I kind of defined that was you're kind of the center of the epicenter of all the school spirit. So when you do something, it's a ripple effect. It causes the fans around you to get excited, it causes the people around them to get more excited. Just trying to start the most friendly riots I can. So, yeah.
You're a very important representative, and especially going into this Rose Bowl. Stanford hasn't been in the Rose Bowl since 2000, I think 2000, when they played Wisconsin, and sadly lost to Wisconsin. So big job this year. You'll be heading down tomorrow, right, to Pasadena. And how do you express your leadership in this role, this important role?
The main role of leadership, obviously, is the band, because the tree is a very integral part of the band. It's the band's mascot, not the university's official mascot. In terms of leadership throughout the school, it's just making sure that you're well known, making sure people around you know who you are, making sure that those people are doing their job. It's screaming at the game. If they don't scream at the game, it's your job to scream at them. And so time and time again at basketball games, I'll have to stick my head out and yell at the six-man club to get back into the game. Even if you're 10 points behind, doesn't mean it's over yet.
So more than the dollies?
Well, the dollies are there mainly as a aesthetically pleasing center of school spirit. So the dollies, like the tree, every year we get new dollies, partially because it's such a time-eating role of ours. But in general, the dollies are more down there to help out the band and kind of give something to look at when we're cheering.
What inspired you to want to be the Stanford Tree?
So I was actually from San Mateo, California. So I used to go to Stanford baseball games all the time. Went to Stanford football games. I think the first one I went to was in '98 or so. So I've been around Stanford for a while. I saw the tree a couple times when I was little and thought it'd be cool. My freshman year, I wasn't expecting on trying out, but my friends convinced me. One of the best decisions of my life, but it was the busiest year of my life.
And somebody made the decision. I don't know what the selection process is. I know that they want you to be crazy on some level, but what was it that set you apart, and is it really competitive?
Oh, it's extremely competitive. Each year, the old trees form a selection committee, and that selection committee is the only people that choose the new tree. And so, throughout Tree Week, which is 1 week where you just prove to the old trees that you are the next Stanford Tree. You can do that through stunts. You can do it through performances. My most notable one was I learned how to cut, weld, and bend metal, and I made this gigantic hamster ball that you crawl inside and strap yourself in. And my friends rolled me down Mayfield Avenue on campus by the lower row into a bunch of kegs dressed as bowling pins. So we did human bowling, and that was one of the ways I showed my dedication.
Wow. And meanwhile, there's only one tree at a time?
There is only one tree at a time, and so this is actually not my year. This is Nicoletta von Heidegger. It's her year. So this is actually her costume right there. Typically, we try to wear the costumes that we made. You do have 1 year in the spotlight, and I just come back from time to time to fill in.
But you've done a lot of that.
Yeah, I've filled in a couple extra quarters. One of the trees actually got fired, so I stepped in. Another tree went abroad, and I filled in for him too.
Busy trees.
Yeah, busy trees, but they're a fun group of people.
Meanwhile, you practice, right? The band practices. What do you do to practice?
You don't really practice to be the tree. It's just something that you go out there, give 110%. When your knees start giving out, you give another 100%. It's really just a game time decision every every time you go out there.
But what about your dance moves?
You're either born with it or you don't, or you're not.
And
I was definitely born with it. I've some pretty extensive Beresford dance show in San Mateo. In 3rd grade, I was one of the popcorn dancers. It was I'm pretty sure I stole the show.
Well, and you like to dance,
Yeah,
it would appear.
It's definitely something that you go in knowing that you got to go out there every day dancing like there's no tomorrow, and then it inspires other people.
Well, and you mean a lot to people. It seems like you are an icon certainly for the band, for the Stanford community, and representing Stanford to the world, right? Mm-hmm. And how does that set Stanford apart, and how do you play a role in that?
The thing that I think sets Stanford apart in relation to the tree is Stanford really is different from the other Ivy League, more, I wouldn't say more pretentious schools, but the band and the tree really do have a lot of fun when a lot of the other marching bands are very stiff, USC, Cal in particular. They're very just stiff and uptight, and that's not what we want to add to our reputation as Stanford. We want to add more of, hey, these are smart kids that have a lot of fun, and then as opposed to smart kids that work all the time and their one escape through band is more work.
So back to work, how many hours a week is it to be the tree?
It all depends on what season. During the football season, you pretty much commit 6 hours a week during the week, plus a full day of a football game, which is 7 or 8 hours.
So not too bad.
Yeah, so it's not too bad. Basketball season, it's normally about 8 to 10 hours a week. Spring quarter, we have a lot of rallies. We play for downtown Palo Alto, the Special Olympics. We go all over the place.
Talk a little bit about your longer term goals. It sounds like this is not a full employment position to be the tree. That does come to an end at some point. What's in your future?
After I graduated in 2011, I worked for Stanford in government relations. I eventually want to be a city manager in the Bay Area someday. So I worked in this internship with government relations at Stanford. I learned a lot. Then moved over to Stanford conferences as an event planner. That was more just helping out an old office that I worked for as a student. But starting grad school in January at CSU East Bay in Hayward for my master's in public administration. So hopefully that will kind of help me figure out if city management is something I want to end up doing or something else I can do with the degree.
Well, and how do you think being a tree is going to help you be a better city manager or whatever, public leader in some way?
I don't know. It's helped in a few odd ways. I think I actually got my government relations job because I was the tree, and one of the administrators for Stanford kind of vouched for me that that this was a good guy and
responsible tree.
Yeah, responsible tree.
Not
Though we're all very responsible. We're all very responsible, but it was kind of a interesting way that I wasn't expecting my resume to have tree on it to actually help out. But you do get what you give and what you put into things. And when I was interning with the Palo Alto City Manager's office, I helped out with Earth Day and the tree costume. And so you got to do. Great power comes great responsibility, right? Spider-Man. Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything that you would like people to know about the tree, or you as the tree? Something that people might not think about or might not think was true?
I would just give kind of like a word out to all the parents that when there's kids that are below waist level, I really, really want you to know that I don't really have a lot of vision on my peripherals. So if I'm dancing and your kid slowly walks up, I only knocked over one child in my year and the dad actually caught him. But I've always been very conscious of where the little kids are around my feet.
So, and do you get to keep your costume?
We don't. Right now I have this one at my house for some repairs because at the end of the year, since we use the band's money to make the costume, we put it into the tree closet right here where these fine costumes were waiting for some future action. The way I always describe the old tree costumes is it's kind of like an old rock star past their prime. It's they're weathered, that's for sure, but they would love some more time in the spotlight. And 50th band reunion is next year, I believe.
Ooh,
and
that's
so
big.
we should have
So when is
7
that?
or 8, 9 trees, whenever homecoming is this year.
In 2013.
Yeah.
Excellent. That's very exciting. Well, Jonathan, Tree, I thank you and we thank you for your service.
Thank you.
And what do you think is going to happen at the game?
We're going to annihilate them. We're going to annihilate them. We lost the Rose Bowl to them a while back. We're not going to do it on my watch.
There you have it.
All right. Thank you.